went on, sing. Finally, he said, finally we can find you come up to the studio.
Okay.
So immediately I called Jason. Of course, no other choice but him because to me he's one of the greatest ever. And I called up a couple other guys. So we went up to the studio like that Monday, and we rehearsed, and we auditioned, and everything was cool. We had two other guys that didn't quite cut it. Big up to Daryl Lynch and my man KP out in Warrensville. Sorry, right. 20 years later, sorry.
Well, it's love, though. Love is love.
And, it turned out to be, it was us four at first. And we didn't have a name, so we called ourselves Boys from the Hood.
Boys from the Hood.
So the other two got dropped, and there was this other guy that came from down here somewhere. His name is Doc Walker.
Okay.
Doc has done some things with Keith Sweat now, some different stuff like that. He got in the group, and it was us three, and we had four girls called 4 Times Hype. And we used to open up for Gerald and them here and there. We recorded some songs. We used to sing BBD songs all the time. Thought it was me and Do Me Baby.
What?
It's Do Me Baby. Big up the BBD, my boys.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
And it just didn't work because Jason and I had been friends forever. Because my mom and his mom were best friends for 30 years before my mom passed away.
Oh, okay.
So it was only inevitable that me and him were brought up together because they lived like a street over from each other growing up. And
so that was predestined, man.
It was predestined, man. There was nothing we could do about it. And we're 3 years apart, but we were the best of friends forever. So that didn't happen.
Okay.
And it was a bitter breakup with him. I mean, it's like he was like a third wheel, really.
Wow.
It was like, you go out with somebody on a date and then somebody else come in.
Yeah.
You be like, it's a third wheel. You start getting irritated. You getting disgruntled. You don't fit in.
Right.
So you start causing waves and stuff.
Right.
So one day we were rehearsing and I was like, man, we need a different group different name for the group because I don't want to be Boys from the Hood coming out on stage 50, 60 years old because I plan on, as long as God allows me to be here, I plan on performing.
How about that? That's good. I'm happy to hear that.
Eddie almost, 70 or 60, whatever, and he's still doing it. The Whispers, them cats is old. One of the Whispers, one of them dudes just had open heart surgery. He's still out there.
Wow.
So, the doctor told him to stop doing it, but he it's hard. I mean, it's like one of my theories is once you put somebody in a nursing home, it's no turning back from that. It's like, because once they go in there, it's just going to be a downgrade from everything else. Because once you stop using your motor skills and everything else, and stop living in the environment that you live in, you just gonna shrivel up and die.
I totally agree.
So, I mean, no matter what, that's just a tidbit too, because I went through that with my grandmother. So no matter what you're going through, somebody in some type of environment, you think you're protecting them by taking them out of their normal everyday environment, you really hurting them. Yeah. Let them live their life until they can't do it anymore. I said, what about Men at Large? And I don't know where I came up with that. I was like, Men at Large, that sounds hot. You know what I'm saying? It sounds not only playing on that we're big, but it says Men at Large. It seems like it's something prestigious, something that means something. I mean, I wouldn't be mad in 2030 when I'm 50 years old or 60 years old. I come out and say Men at Large, and I'm on my scooter singing. What I'm saying? Cool.
I mean, they made a movie called Living Large. I mean, it's a position, it's a status.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
status, exactly. And the rest is history. It took us. We actually signed our contracts in 1990, but didn't have a release till like May of 1992, which was the first single, "Use Me."
Yeah, "Use Me." Yeah, that song bothered me, man. That song bothered me for a minute because I'm like, man, now I got all this competition. First light skin. Now you got to have some money. Because if you tell a girl, use me, I mean, what you bringing to the table pretty much.
That's what I want to do anyway.
Man, I was a young buck. I ain't had no money, living with moms, and then that song like "Use Me" come out. I'm like, I got to really up my game. So really, that song did help me because I upped my game. And then I was like, when I come to a female now and I'm talking to her like, look, what am I gonna do with you? Look, use me. What you need. You gave me some crack right there.
I mean, real talk, that's the way it should be, but you got so many, it's so beautiful to see so many women, man, doing their own thing and not really depending on a man, because, I mean, I seen some crazy things growing up, man, and I'm just glad to see that the world has changed to benefit an independent sister.
I haven't seen that until I moved to, when I moved to Georgia, I seen just how powerful a sister can be. Because where I'm from in Virginia, man, sisters was using what they got to get what they want when I came here.
I like that too.
Yeah, I mean,
I like that too.
It works where it works. No disrespect to my girls in Virginia, because I know some of y'all out here grinding too.
Beautiful ladies in Virginia.
Educated, yeah, you know about that. All right, because I got my wife from VA.
Right, my sister-in-law just graduated from Hampton.
Hampton University.
Yeah.
That's what's up. So, I mean, you were signed to Atlantic Records and Electric.
Yeah, Atlantic. It was East West Electric, which is it was a division of Atlantic Records, which is all Warner Electric Atlantic Records. So,
Okay.
You know, that was a great time, man. We were on the same label as Keith Sweat, Levert, Silk, my dudes.
Silk, yeah.
It was a great time then, man. Music was great. I mean, I remember going on the road all the time with those guys at all the festivals and all the time. It was like, it was inevitable that we were always together. I don't know why we're not all closer like we should be, but I mean, I think, you know, things just happen, man. You know,
I think it's a full circle.
We talk from time to time now.
I think it'll come back because I see the 80s coming back with hip hop. The 90s are gonna come back. I mean, I think everything goes full circle. When you have drained a product of everything you can drain it from, you're gonna have to go back to the original source. Don't you agree? The R&B has to come back, man.
Gotta come back.
I gotta talk about how you did some co-host work for Independent Music Video Awards, and it was in the Virgin Islands. They call you King Tolliver. What's that about?
Well, like I said, I started doing radio when I was 15. And, you know, at that point in my life, man, the bottom kind of fell out. I ain't gonna even lie to you. It was some rough years, man, a rough, 3 or 4 year patch, man, where things just really weren't, it was stuff falling out the sky every now and then, but I mean, it was a rough patch. I had 2 knee injuries back to back, and I was like, man, my basketball days are over, gaining weight, you know what I'm saying? So they had called my uncle. To see if he wanted to come down and do it. He was like, man, I ain't doing that. I got a family.
Right.
So, I had just turned like 30, I believe, or 31. I was like, hell yeah, I go to Islands. So I sent him my little demo reel, and, I went down there, and he was like, man, where's that funny stuff you're doing on the tape? I said, man, well, listen, doing a morning show is so complex because it has to be full of, laughs, giggles, and serious stuff, too. I say, if you get me somebody in here to run this board, I guarantee you I'll smash it. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, in the islands, music is a spiritual movement down there. So I'm saying every day I would come in there, I would like freestyle rap, I would make up a chant, I would do some soca, some calypso, just make up songs as according to like what happened in the news the night before, what was in the paper in the morning, and just different things. I learned a lot about the culture down there, and you learned a lot of Spanish down there, and you know how to talk Crujan, man, things like that, man, everything's safe, man.
Yeah, patois?
I don't know no patois.
Well, that's what that sounds just like.
It sounds like, right, that's what they got all the time.
Yeah,
I don't know it, but I mean, a little Spanish.
That's what I'm saying. Let's stand up, Tom.
But the islanders, man, I love them. They love me, man. We go out and be a line, man, at the club, them. Yeah, man. Seeing.
Yeah.
The safer than Selassie with a document in his briefcase.
Enough respect to the dreadlock roster.
Yeah, man.
Hey, yo, well, I really want to get on this BLAQ PAVAROTTI album.
BLAQ Pavi.
That's bananas, I had the privilege of listening to some songs from there, man. You got this one saying, I need it, bruh. I can't get that song. I can't get it out of my head. I got my 10-year-old daughter singing it. It's just what's funny about it is I usually critique what she listened to. She happened to listen. She heard me listening to it while I was going over the research on you, and I was like, I need it. I'm like, Tatiana, what's that you just said? She said, I need it. I'm like, wait a minute now. Where'd you hear that at?
The thing is about my music, I've never been one to. Like, 'cause I always cared what, like, my parents would say. My father wasn't really around that much, but, we have a pretty good relationship today. Sometimes in life you gotta let some things go because you can't change it. You just move on. So, I always cared about what my grandmother would think. Yeah. And because my mom died when she was like 38, so she died like right before we dropped the record. She knew we had the deal, but she died like almost a year before we dropped the record. So.
Oh man.
Yeah. So that's where So Long came from.
Okay.
So Long was written for her. I mean, at that time, my mom had died. 9 months later, Jason's father died. Gerald's grandfather had died.
Oh my goodness.
And one of my guys that worked for Gerald, his father had died too. So I mean, that was like a really emotional studio session.
I imagine so.
But like I said, in my songs, I try not to do too much. I'm gonna be honest, man. I got a mouth like a sailor sometimes, but I've never put that into music.
I need it.
Yeah.
I need it.
Yeah.
I need it.
We back.
I need it. The BLAQ PAVAROTTI. I need it. I need it. 314. I need it. I need it.
You know this for, right?